question is, what do you see as the important aspects of developing a long-range strategy when it comes to community engagement or outreach within the community?
Well, I think it's really important that we have long-range plans, that we think of our neighborhood and we think of the people who live around us as something that we commit ourselves to more than just once in a while or in these sort of one-shot wonders. And that's something we're really doing our best to do at Bethel. And I have to admit, we haven't been all that great at it. So we're doing a lot of starting from scratch or from what little we were doing. But what we're hoping to be is an integrated, valued, transformational member of this community. And we want to be integrated. We want to be integral with the community, so that people look at our church and say, "Well, of course, this church is a part of our neighborhood. This is who we are." And that's really important, because if people drive by our church and they don't even know we're there, and I've met people like that, that's a problem. We can't just exist like that, as this sort of invisible structure in the middle of the neighborhood. So we have to be integral. We also have to be valued, which means that the things that are happening here also have to reflect the joys and the challenges of the neighborhood. Otherwise, we're just kind of a little bubble. And we have our values and they have their values, but they don't touch, they don't meet, they don't do anything with one another. And then transformational, and I know that's a loaded word depending on what sphere you're in, but what we mean by transformational is simply saying that this is not just community outreach for community outreach's sake. We are reaching out with the love of Jesus, that we do care about people. We really care about them in their situation, whatever that might be. But when we love them with the love of Jesus, it's more than just one human who loves another human. This is a human who has been saved by the blood of Jesus, who is loving another human. And with that comes a true desire that this other human will also realize that their sins can be forgiven by that very same blood of Jesus. And so it truly is the mission that drives us. But I really do think it starts with just loving people. And like I said, you don't want to just have a one-shot thing. So we've done a neighborhood walk with Link. It was wonderful. We did a block party, which I wish we would have had better weather for, but we had a few neighbors who came and really truly enjoyed themselves. And the next step for us is trying to become that integral, valued member. So we're in the process now of putting together a neighborhood flyer of sorts, where we gather the news from the neighborhood, basically, and we put it out probably 2, maybe 3 times a year to all the neighbors within basically this square mile that we're on. And it's interesting to see the interest that we're getting from different organizations, such as District 10 here, is really interested in having us be a part of that, and communicating with some of the other entities around is going to be really a wonderful thing, and hopefully this begins to build awareness, not just of our church, but of one another, build community with one another, and hopefully that's the kind of thing that then the neighbors are talking to the neighbors, and people start seeing that, wow, but I'm so glad we have Bethel, because they help us to get to know one another and what's going on in the neighborhood, and so that, we hope, then turns into more neighborhood building things, that you got to build up to these things. So we're hoping to have this continued effort, but then when there is something that needs to be done in the neighborhood, and we say, let's spearhead this, it's not just the Bethel members who are going to be a part of it. They're already going to be aware of Bethel as an integrated and a valued member of the community. And it's when those sort of relationships start happening that I think we'll really start to see the transformational element coming, because that only happens through relationships. And if our neighborhood doesn't even know we're here, you'll have a relationship. So you build up to that. And so I really think that neighborhood outreach is all about the long term, and you got to build up to something. And you're catching us right now in the build-up process, and I really would love to talk further, maybe a year or two down the road, and see, what's it look like. I'm honestly very curious about that myself. So that's my answer.